What's up, everybody? It's the Miami Football Fanatic here again. Glad you guys could join me here for another Dolphins video. And today, I wanted to talk about the Dolphins' possible third-round picks that we can make this year. Going to be going through all the positions. Just going to be naming off all the guys that could be there for us with a third-round pick. And just going to be highlighting my favorite guys on the list and players that I really think would be great for our obvious rebuild. Okay, so let's start at quarterback, and we'll start here with Will Grier. This is a quarterback here that can obviously probably go in the second round, but he definitely could be in the third round, and he's a guy that who I'd really like for the Dolphins here, especially in the third round. His value here would be tremendous, and he's just a guy that I really think can be a solid quarterback in the league. He's got great accuracy. He's got great escapability in the pocket, and just a guy who I think can make a nice impact in the league as a quarterback. Okay, so the next guy is Tyree Jackson. I really think he could go later in the draft, but he has been rated at the moment as a third round pick, and I really wouldn't want him on the team. He's 6'7", 245. He's a tremendous athlete, but he's got the most wonkiest throwing motion, and you could just see at Buffalo he had accuracy issues, and you could tell that he hasn't played the position long. And he also admitted in the pre-draft process that he taught himself how to throw football. So that just tells you right there that he isn't a legit NFL quarterback. The next guy is Ryan Finley. This is another guy who could go later in the draft. I really think Ryan Finley's probably going to go in the fourth round, but he's a talented guy. I just really loved the way he handled himself at NC State. Throwing to guys like Calvin Harmon and Jacoby Myers. He was surrounded by some talented guys, but I just really liked the way he played the position, and I think that if we were to grab him possibly here in the third or fourth round, he'd be great for our quarterback room. Okay, so the next guy is Jarrett Stidham. same as Finley. There is a strong possibility that he could go in the fourth round, but Jarrett Stidham, multiple games, I loved what I saw from him. He looks like a prototypical quarterback, possible NFL quarterback, but just the way he plays position, it just looks very natural. Just the way he drops back in the pocket, and just the way he delivers the ball, he really does have the look of a solid NFL QB. Just his fundamentals, he really does look like a solid player. And if you were to grab him in the third or fourth round, possibly fifth round, I'd love him as a development piece. Okay, so that's it for the quarterbacks. On to running backs. Got a long list here, so hope you guys will bear with me. So starting with Damian Harris from Alabama, I really think that he's a very talented running back. He's like around 220 pounds. He runs with great burst and great speed, and also does a great job breaking tackles. I really think that he's going to be a solid NFL running back. Devin Singletary, I really do think that just his talent really could, teams can really take him in the second round. He's just a guy. He's just, if you haven't watched his tape, he's tremendous to watch. He just makes guys miss on pretty much every snap, and I really don't, just watching him, you don't think he's 5'7", and that's what he measured out at the combine. But he just runs with great power, and just he's got tremendous quickness between tackles, and even though we do have Kenyon Drake and Kalen Ballage, Devin Singletary, he would be a welcomed piece to our offense and running back room. The next guy is Darrell Henderson. I should have had him first on the list. He's my, besides Josh Jacobs, Darrell Henderson is one of my favorite running backs in this draft. He's 5'8", 200. I think he's like 208 pounds, but he reminds me a lot of Devontae Freeman. He's got a very similar game to Devontae Freeman of the Falcons. He's he's a bowling ball out there, the 5'8" bowling ball who just breaks tackles on every snap and just runs with tremendous burst. I mean, he had incredible production this past year for Memphis, and he had 8 yards per carry, so that just tells you right there what kind of running back he is. David Montgomery from Iowa State. He's a very versatile guy. Does a great job running the ball. He breaks tackles with ease, and he's great in the passing game also. So he could be gone early third round, possibly second round. That's how talented he is. But David Montgomery, just a 3-down running back that can. He really can do it all, and he's got great size, and I really think he's going to flourish in the NFL. And last on the list here is Miles Sanders, the successor to Saquon Barkley. He tested incredibly well at the combine. I think he was sub 4.4. I think he ran a 4.39 or something like that. But he's a guy he's got great size, and he's just a talented running back that can really get it done on multiple levels. And similar to every guy on this list, he's going to make an immediate impact in the league. I mean, he's no Saquon Barkley, but he's a talented player in his own right. Okay, so on to wide receiver. Hakeem Butler here at the top of the list. I mean, he's a huge, athlete at 6'5", 200, and I think like 25 pounds, but just his measurables are just off the charts. He's got like 10 3/4 inch hands, which if you don't know how big that is just absolutely gigantic. He's got some mitts on him, and he's also got a 35-inch wingspan, 35-inch arms, so just his catch radius is just going to be off the charts. But he also runs a 4.4, so Hakeem Butler, if he was there for the Dolphins in the third round, we'd have to snatch him up. Just a big body, the receiver that I think is going to make a tremendous impact in the league. Next on the list here is Andy Isabella, the small guy from Massachusetts. Ran a 4.3. Not much here to say. He's just an absolute burner out there, and I really do love the way he runs routes. I mean, really big on him. We've got a lot of similar players, to him on the team. Guys like, Jakeem Grant and Albert Wilson. So we really wouldn't need to grab Andy Isabella. If the Dolphins were to take a receiver in this draft, it'd need to be, a big-bodied guy. Even though we did re-sign Devontae Parker, I do not have faith in that guy. I don't know why we signed him to a 2-year deal, but obviously, Coach Flores and the new regime, thought there was something that they could pull out of him, and that's that. Okay, so next on the list is Mecole Hardman. Pretty similar player to Andy Isabella, but didn't have the same production because there were a lot of mouths to feed for Georgia. But he's a 4.3 player and just a tough-nosed receiver, 5'10", 205 pounds. Mecole Hardman is a guy that, I don't know, I'm not too big on, but he's an explosive athlete. Next is Emmanuel Hall from Missouri. Nice size, 6'2", but he's got tremendous speed. I think he ran a 4.39, so he's just a guy that. But I love the way he runs routes too. He had great production this past year, catching balls from Drew Lock, and he runs great routes, and he's got tremendous speed. So that's a guy that I really think is going to be great in the league. Antoine Wesley from just escaping me at the moment, but Antoine Wesley is a big receiver, but he's got a very slight frame. I'm worried that he could get injured in the league, but he's just a guy that's just an absolute, a rebounder for a wide receiver, a guy that goes up and, most of the time wins those 50-50 balls, but he's very talented catching the ball, and he's got great hands. So, who knows? We could, possibly could be a target for us in the third, but if we were to take him, I'd rather take him in the fourth round. Next is Miles Boykin from Notre Dame. He had very surprising measurables. He ran a 4.4. He jumped 44 inches, and he's a huge receiver, 6'4", 220 plus pounds. Miles Boykin is a big receiver with, as I said, just his measurables were just truly surprising, and I really would love to have him on the team, possibly in the 4th or 5th round. And last here is Terry McLaurin, Scary Terry they call him. I think that's what they call him, but he's a great athlete. He's a 4.4 receiver, but a lot of draft pundits and experts are saying that he probably will have an impact as a receiver, but his main calling card they're saying is a gunner on special teams. People think that he's going to be the next Matthew Slater from the Patriots. He's just a great special teams player that I really think can impact the game in a number of ways. Alrighty, so moving on to tight ends. Top of the list here is Dawson Knox from Mississippi. I think Mississippi State. Yeah. He had absolutely no production in college, but this is a guy that I think is going to be great in the league. He did not catch a touchdown in college, but you can just see on tape. He's a natural catcher of the ball. Does all right in the run game. I think his calling card is going to be as a pass catching tight end, but possible options there for the Dolphins in the 3rd round. He's a possible option for us, for the Dolphins. Next is Jay Sternberger from Texas A&M. He's a very similar player to Mike Gesicki. I mean, probably doesn't have the same hops. He definitely isn't the same athlete. He didn't run a 4.5, and he didn't jump 44 inches or 40 inches. I'm pretty sure Mike Gesicki jumped, but he's a great pass catching tight end. He's a very athletic tight end. Does a great job catching the ball over the middle, and I really do like what he brings, to the field as an athletic pass catching tight end. Next is Isaac Norder. I think he ran a 4.8 or a 4.9. This at the combine. I think he improved on that a bit at the Georgia Pro Day, but Isaac Norder, he's a very talented tight end, and a possible pick for the team there in the 3rd round. I think he's going to be more of I think he's probably going to be taken the 5th round because of his terrible 40 time. So on to offensive tackle, David Edwards, the huge right tackle from Wisconsin. I'm not sure if he's got much experience playing left tackle, but David Edwards, I mean, if we were to get him here in the 3rd round, this would be the perfect pick. He played right tackle the past 2 years, and he's just a great player. Does a great job in pass protection, a great job, setting the edge and just getting out on run blocks. He might be a better run blocker than pass blocker, but this would be tremendous value for the team if we were to get him here in the 3rd round. Next is Titus Howard from Alabama State, a tremendous athlete. I think I did mention him in my my 2nd round possible picks, but Titus Howard, he played right tackle this past year, and this is exactly what the team needs. So who knows? They might love him as a prospect and possibly take him in the 3rd round of the draft. Next is Max Sharping. Honestly, I really haven't watched much tape of him, if not any tape, but he's been mocked a lot in the 3rd round, and from what I've heard, he's a lot of draft people have said that he's a solid tackle, so another option for the team. On to guard, top of the list here, we got Connor McGovern from Penn State. He's a big guard that I think is, he can play left or right guard, and it's exactly what the team needs. Next is Michael Jordan. Played center this past year for Ohio State, snapping the ball to Dwayne Haskins. A lot of people think he's going to be a guard in the league, but that versatility is exactly what we need. Having played center, and just I love his size. He's a 6'6" interior offensive lineman that doesn't get pushed around much. And the last option here for the Dolphins here at guard in the third round is Bo Benchwell, I think is how you pronounce it, from Wisconsin. Another solid, talented offensive lineman from Wisconsin. You could argue they did have the best line in college football this past year, but he played right guard, and that's a big hole for us at the moment. Depending where Jesse Davis plays, I really do think he can kick out to tackle. He's got tackle measurables. He's like 6'6", 320 pounds, and he's got 34-inch arms. So he's got all the physical ability to kick out to tackle, and just that versatility right there is exactly what I'd love to have for the team. We could use the same model that the Colts used this past year. They took, can't remember now, but they took an offensive lineman from Auburn in the third round. He did play guard most of his career at Auburn, but he played, God damn it, his name's escaping me at the moment, but he kicked out to right tackle for the Colts, and the Colts' offensive line was just absolutely tremendous for Andrew Luck this year, and as you can see, they bounced back tremendously and went to the playoffs. So Bo Benchwell, he's a guy that I think can, we're not going to be the Colts this year. We're not going to go to the playoffs this year, obviously, with us rebuilding. But Bo Benchwell, I'd love him for our offensive line. Okay, so moving on to center, Elgton Jenkins is the only guy I see here. Could be a possible option. I did say in my possible, second round options for the Dolphins video, I did put Elgton Jenkins as a possible second rounder, but I really do think he could go in the third round too. But he's a guy that can play center and guard, and that is something that I definitely love for the team. On to defensive tackle, Gerald Willis, Renell Wren, and Isaiah Buggs. Gerald Willis, he's a tremendous penetrating defensive tackle from Miami. Renell Wren is he's a physical freak. I mean, he's no Jeffrey Simmons or Quinnen Williams, but Renell Wren, 6'6", 295 pounds. He's a tremendous athlete who does a great job getting in the backfield from time to time. And Isaiah Buggs from Alabama, he's a very similar player to Devon Gottschall and Vincent Taylor, but I wouldn't mind having another solid young defensive tackle. On to defensive end, we got DeAndre Walker from Georgia, O'Shane Zimenez from Old Dominion, I'm pretty sure, Anthony Nelson from Iowa, and also, one second here, looks like my computer's decided to shit itself. And Ben Bonague from TCU, he's a guy that I really think could fit into our hybrid scheme. And also Christian Miller from Alabama and Austin Bryant from Clemson. So just to recap there, that was a bit all over the place. DeAndre Walker, O'Shane Zimenez, Anthony Nelson, Christian Miller, and Anthony Nelson. So there's a litany of guys that we could choose from the third round. Also, Jalen Ferguson. He's definitely going to go in the second round, but there's another possible guy there. But just really liking all the possible avenues that a team can go right here. There's just a number of ways we can go here in the third round, and that's exactly what you want. Okay, so on to linebacker. The only two guys I could see here is Jermaine Pratt and Dakota Allen. I'm not too big on those two, but Mac Wilson could maybe go in the third round, but he's probably going to go in the second round. A team that desperately needs a linebacker is probably going to reach in the second round for Mac Wilson, but Jermaine Pratt and Dakota Allen is the two possible guys. Also, Trayvon Coney from Notre Dame could be a possible guy here. Okay, so on to cornerback. Amani Aruwe from Penn State, tremendous athlete, a great cover corner. Lonnie Johnson, the huge corner from Kentucky, 6'3". He's a great press corner and a guy that I think can really develop into a player in our scheme. Joe Juan Williams from Vanderbilt. I definitely think he's going to go in the second round, but it's another possible option for the team. So moving on to safety. Taylor Rapp, he'd be a tremendous piece for our defense, especially. I mean, the Patriots did run a lot of 3 safety sets, but who knows how similar our defense is going to be. But if we were going to have a similar defense to what Flores ran at New England, Taylor Rapp would be a great Wildcats player. Darnell Savage from Maryland, tremendous player, and he's incredibly versatile. He can do a number of things as a safety, and that's exactly what we need from our safeties. And an honorable mention is Jonathan Abram, but he's going to go in the second round. That's a no-brainer. He is a tremendously talented safety from Mississippi State, and he's just a ferocious leader at safety. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, and Will Harris from Boston College. He's another versatile guy, but I really do think he's going to go in the late third round to fourth round, but just another guy there. Okay, so that's it for the third round options. That went much more longer than I would have wanted, but as you can see, there's a number of ways we can go here. We can grab a talented player at pretty much any position here. If we want to grab a quarterback, we could get a talented guy like a Will Grier, or a guy like a Jarrett Stidham, or Ryan Finley. Running back, just a number of guys there. I think I named half a dozen dudes there, headlined by Darrell Henderson. Receiver, same. We could grab a tremendously talented player at tight end if we wanted to add another guy. Tackle, center, guard, whatever position you want to name. Defensive tackle, edge, linebacker. You could go anywhere here in the third round, and honestly, the objective here in the third round, in the first 3 rounds, is to get a blue chip player that can just be a great, foundational piece for the team moving forward, and a guy that can, be a part of the team as we move forward with the rebuild, and hopefully, move on to be a perennial playoff contender. Okay, so as always, don't forget to leave the feedback in the comments section. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content. And as always, fins up, baby. I'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers, folks.